Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. It is Friday, August 6th, and usually I like to come on here and joke with you guys and let you know that Friday is my most chill show of the day. Usually I'm a lot happier than this and all of that. However, what I thought was going to be your basic SmackDown review kind of is going to be something a little bit different here tonight. So bear with me because this was completely unprecedented, not expected whatsoever. I had no idea that 12 releases were going to be made here, literally probably 40 minutes before the end of SmackDown. And so I was very much, I was pretty into the show for the most part. And then the news of the releases broke and it was kind of like, well, I'm sorry, but I can't even focus on the show. But today we're going to we're going to switch things up, guys. We're going to talk about the releases that happened. And then towards the end, we will be talking about SmackDown because that's still my job. So I will be talking about SmackDown, but towards the end, after we talk about the surprising releases. And we've had a lot of releases, 2021, 2020. I think for 2021, from what I saw on Twitter, it's about 44, 45 talents that have been released by WWE this year. And this one feels different, everybody. I don't know what it is, but I kind of feel like today, just based on what we've been seeing with NXT and everything that's been going down on that end, and then seeing a lot of NXT talents and, of course, the 205 Live talents as well. But it kind of feels like, I don't know. I mean, I may have been a little bit over dramatic, but this kind of feels like the death of a brand. And I hope that that's not the case because I'm a fan of NXT. I've been on here on my NXT shows basically saying how I want the show to get better. However, when certain talents are being released, certain talents like the ones that we saw named here today, it is very, very surprising. So guys, we're going to go over the releases. I'm going to go over what you guys are saying. And I already see that we have so many super chats in right now. So you know what? Screw it. This is a therapy session, everybody. If you want to vent on the show, share your thoughts about how you feel, who you're most surprised about in terms of the releases, go ahead and let me know. And I'm going to be going through them all one by one. So we're going to have a lot to go over, but I'm going to start off with a couple of the super chats that we got. This one here is from Adam Blamplate, who says, only one thing to say. He says, F this company. Hope Adam Cole hasn't signed a new deal. SmackDown was really good until the releases. Hashtag sad little plate. SmackDown was a pretty decent show up until the news of the releases. And even then, I can't really judge SmackDown after the news of the releases because I kind of stopped paying attention. So this was very, very unfortunate. We have a comment from Heidi Ho at 77 who sends in a super chat. Thank you so much to Heidi, who says, people are blowing these releases out of proportion. Everyone can't work for WWE. So here's the thing is that I get when a lot of people, they write like, oh, you know, this is business, blah, blah, blah. However, when you have so many of these releases happening and there are a lot of names that is very questionable. So for me, to be honest with you guys, this group, this chunk of releases feels differently from some of the other ones. And the reason for that is you look at the names and we'll go over them right now. Some of these names are people that we have been seeing on NXT. Like these are people that were in legit, they had something on the show, whether it was a storyline or they were getting somewhere. And then the other people that got released, they didn't even get a chance to show anything. Like they didn't even get an opportunity. So that's why for me, this feels very, very differently from some of the other group of releases, which is just crazy because even then those were crazy too. We got a super chat from Taylor Cannon. Thank you so much to Taylor, who says, for Fish and Reed shocked me the most with these releases. Like I don't even know what to think right now. So while we're reading Taylor Cannon's super chat here, these are the names of the 12 people that have been released. BTW, all of this news was broken by Sean Ross Sapp. He was the one who put this out there, and immediately it was like double checking his username, double checking and making sure that he was not hacked. But here we go. These are the names of the people that were released: Bobby Fish, Mercedes Martinez, Leon Ruff, Tyler Rust, Bronson Reed, Jake Atlas, Ari Sterling, Kona Reeves, Zacharia Smith, Asher Hale, Giant Zangier, and Steven Smith. Now, some of these names are obviously a little bit more known than the others. We will break those down. However, I do have to agree with Taylor Cannon that I was most incredibly shocked by the release of Bronson Reed. I will talk about that a little bit more in depth, but we are getting plenty of super chats, so I want to make sure I read those as well. We got another one from Nick Grasso who says, Bronson Reed, Bobby Fish, Tyler Russ, I don't get. And why would you release Mercedes Martinez when she's injured? Why does NXT exist at this point? So I haven't looked at the remaining list of people on NXT, but based again on the names that we just mentioned and that Nick just mentioned here, these are people that legitimately we were talking about on my shows on NXT. I was on here talking about these people in storylines. We got another super chat. This one is from Jay Payan 421 who says, this message is louder than whatever he says, old man Vince blathered to Adam Cole. Right now, with the whole situation with Adam Cole and whether or not he's resigning with WWE, I have no idea if what decisions have been made there. I have no idea if that is going to influence Adam Cole to make a decision, switch his decision. I have no idea because I do not know the standings in which Adam Cole and his contract are at the moment with WWE and whether or not he's going to choose to re-sign. I have no idea. We also have another super chat. This one is from Clash with Spreezus who says, Wrestle Talk said rebrand NXT with younger talent. It's not, look, NXT needs the young talent, but they also need some veteran talent. They need some stars. They need to make it a balance. They really do need to balance it out. I liked the focus. I liked the shift of the programming that they were doing. I liked that the new flow that they were going with. Aside from last week's show that I did not think was good, I thought for the most part that every NXT episode since moving to Tuesday was fairly decent. Some even being much more than that. We got another super chat from Adam Blampley who says, feel sorry for the guys and girls release. Makes me wonder, why do I get invested in characters and why do I stay up to 3 to 5 a.m. to watch these shows? We have another super chat from Stellar Justin Lopez who says, I couldn't even focus on SmackDown. This is the worst time era to be a WWE fan. Why should we as fans invest time in talents we know if they could be cut, and we know they can be cut unexpectedly at any time now. That is going to be a major impact because looking at these names, Bobby Fish, we were just talking about his match with Roderick Strong a couple days ago. The last couple of weeks I had been coming on here and talking about how Bobby Fish was having some pretty good matches. Mercedes Martinez, she was the first person that they put as the challenger to Raquel Gonzalez. And here's the thing with Mercedes Martinez is that she was somebody that they kept finding something for her to do on NXT. And I kind of felt like, okay, they must really like Mercedes Martinez if they're taking the time to find positions for her on the show. For the most part, she was getting, a good amount of TV time, you can say, on NXT. And here's the thing too, is that, while Mercedes Martinez, you probably weren't expecting her to get to a certain level on the brand, at the end of the day, she is someone who is an experienced worker and she can help those younger, greener talents that she can, just kind of help them get better in the ring. And I think that was a way to utilize Mercedes Martinez. Tyler Rust, guys, he's in Diamond Mine. And I get it. I wasn't the biggest fan of Diamond Mine, but they've just been around for like less than a month. Tyler Rust, he came in and he seemingly seemed impressive, right? But he didn't really have a storyline. He gets brought in to the Diamond Mine, something that they hyped up for a couple of weeks. They get presented on the NXT show. And it was kind of like that had just gotten started. So it's like, why make this big hoorah about Diamond Mine and then take this guy out? Bronson Reed, ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, your former NXT North American champion. He was somebody that everybody's predictions were completely wrong about, because as of this moment, I was expecting like the next week, maybe 2 weeks, for me to be talking about Bronson Reed debuting on either a Raw or a SmackDown. That was the speculation. When he lost the title to Isaiah Swerve Scott, everyone assumed, okay, he's being called up. He had these dark matches, and now he's not even with the company. And you know what, though? He was quick to go on Twitter. He was quick to basically point out that they had made a mistake. And so, you know what? I do appreciate the fact that he came out here like guns blazing immediately after the release and basically said they made a mistake. Man, guys, I'm in shock. We got so many more super chats to read here. Let me see. I'm going to scroll down. This one is from Anthony Maria, who says, "How on earth does Adam Cole resign with the company? I do not know. I mean, we don't know where they're at in conversations or anything like that. I don't know if he's already resigned or if he's gonna resign. We just don't know right now. But I don't know, man. If I'm Adam Cole and I'm seeing this right now, it does not persuade me to resign. But that's just my personal opinion here. We got another super chat from Chris Ludek, who says, "Even though these NXT releases are unfortunate, at least it's not like the early 2000s where there was nowhere else to wrestle and make money." Chris, I'm glad you brought this up, and I got several points to touch on this, what you just brought up. So here's the thing, is that okay, so with the first releases that happened during the lockdown, it was like shocking. Like, I remember that day. Everybody remembers that day, kind of being like, man, how could they release these people during the pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. And it sucked, right? It sucked. Now I'm starting to see, like, if I were one of those talents that was in the first batch of releases, I would kind of see it as a blessing in disguise. And the reason for that is that there was more opportunity for spots to be taken. Now, with all of the releases that have happened and there's so much more talent available, there isn't as many spots as if you were like the first people that got released. And that, of course, it differentiates on, star power, who it is, who we're even talking about, who this person is, what they did in their career, etc. Obviously, all of those things factor into decision makings and where people end up. But I'm starting to see it's like, damn, it kind of seems like if you got released earlier, you kind of got better off because you were able to, for the most part, everybody seems to be settled now. But with these new groups of, releases, a lot of these names, they're not gonna, they're gonna have to go elsewhere. Not everybody can go, to AEW and earn the big bucks, etc. That's not gonna happen for everybody. Now, obviously, this, the releases, and depending on what these talents do, that will help out, the independent wrestling scene and all of that. But it's like, you're not gonna be making, not everybody is going to be making the same amount of money. Of course, this depends on your work ethic, who you are, etc., who you know, how much work you're willing to put in after. I mean, it's just a lot that factors into it. But bringing up again Chris's point, there is at least more options. You got so many other promotions, and hopefully this will bring some life to some other promotions as well. We have a super chat from Mickey Chacon, who says, "Feel very bad for Fish. He was injured many times in NXT, and it seems he was released for his age and consistent injuries." And here's the thing is that, yeah, Bobby Fish has been there for a while, but he's that guy that could essentially, again, similar to Mercedes Martinez, you still want experienced workers to help with these, talents. Again, it's a developmental brand. We got another super chat from Casper215, who says, "Damn, that means no Undisputed Era reunion. From the looks of it, nope, I do not think so." And let's see, I'm going to scroll through a couple more comments, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to get as many everybody, but I'm going to put forth the super chat ones first. We have a super chat from Vincent Milledge, who says, "Crazy how much this company has changed their strategy from last year. What is going through that old man's head? Let go of Reed." Obviously, somebody that is being talked a lot about too is Nick Khan. The company has made a lot of different decisions since Nick Khan has taken reins here. I mean, he is somebody that needs to be talked about as well. And I think I think like 20 minutes ago when I was checking the trending list on Twitter, his name was definitely one of those names that was definitely trending there. We got another super chat from Heidi Ho 77 who says, as a fan and shareholder, I hate to see it, but I understand it. Also, it wasn't long ago we were upset they were hoarding talent. Cuts were inevitable. A lot of these talents too, guys, we need to point out that they had recently signed as well. Bronson Reed signed with the company in 2019, which you guys may see and be like, oh, well, that's, 3 years or so. That's not a long time. Jake Atlas, also 2019. And Ari Sterling, he signed about 9 months ago. He was having his 10th match on 205 Live with Kushida. That was literally his 10th match with the company. We had Asher Hale, who also signed with the company January of this year, guys. January of this year. We're in August. So it does kind of suck. Like, why sign these people and then have them think that things are going to be okay and then just kind of let them go. That sucks. Honestly, that sucks. I could only, I don't want to imagine what that would feel like. Devin Schultz says, WWE, thank you, Devin, for sending in a super chat. He says, WWE is preparing for a sale and these regular releases to pare down the roster only continue to prove that. Convince me otherwise. I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise because I believe the same thing. I've been seeing, obviously this is something that has been talked about. I've been seeing it, and the more that these decisions are made, it's really hard to ignore the fact that it does seem like they are trying to fix that profit margin so that they can sell the company. I'm not a business expert, but it does seem to me like that's what they're trying to do. But at the same time, it doesn't make sense. Why cut these guys that aren't making that much money? I mean, I don't know how much money these guys were making, but I can tell you that they weren't making like Roman Reigns money. Usually when companies do like, they want to save money, they usually cut from the top. And we did see that with Braun Strowman, but those are only really a couple of names there. We got another super chat from AMLG who says WWE is a toxic girlfriend at this point. We have so many more super chats, guys. Thank you guys so much. I mean, this has just been a crazy night. I was not expecting this whatsoever, and it really kind of just threw me off. But anyways, Flamethrower Fluff Salisbury sends in a super chat and says, I hate that they can release people and have them have the no-compete clauses in their contracts. If the WWE doesn't want them, they shouldn't have a say in wrestlers' immediate futures. I do agree with that. But then at the same time, it's like they do have the option of opting out, but I believe they have to get it approved, though. So you can opt out of having the non-compete clauses. From my understanding, you can opt out of that and just not get paid. So I think, again, it depends on how much money you're making, what opportunities are available. And even then, I think they still have to approve whether or not you can actually opt out of that. We got another super chat from WH who says, only really got into wrestling 9 months ago. NXT was my favorite brand. Don't love AEW as much as most. So I think I'm done now. What a shame. And here's the thing, guys, is that people like what they want. There is nothing wrong in, being obviously a fan of the NXT product. It's a great product. Here's the thing is that they're just not as hot as they once were. Like NXT used to be that place where it's like, oh, if you're an NXT fan, like you're the cool person in town. Like they were having like bomb matches. And even then on the takeovers, they still have some of the best matches, outshining some of the main roster matches, come like, WrestleMania weekends, your SummerSlam weekends, etc. All of the takeovers usually tend to outshine the main roster pay-per-views. And so it is kind of a little bit disappointing because NXT, and I know a lot of people like to trash the show, but there is a lot of good stuff on NXT that I personally enjoyed, and you guys have heard me talk about it on my post show. So that's that. We got another super chat from Salt and Sea who says, I don't watch WWE any longer, but I feel so bad for the talent and fans who were invested in them. This is why I no longer watch. And that's the truth is, again, when you see talent that is doing something and then they get released again. One of the Bronson Reed, he was just your NXT North American champion. He was just getting he just had this dark matches, and oh god. Heidi Host 77 says sends in a super chat, says on a brighter note, Bianca looked like a damn star, and Vega had the best hurricanrana in all of wrestling. I did not pay attention to Bianca's or Zelina Vega's match whatsoever. I missed the entire thing because that literally was happening as the releases were sent in, guys. This has just been a wild night here. Alrighty, guys, so keep the love coming. I mean, if you guys want to share your thoughts on what you guys think about these releases, you guys can go ahead and send them in as we go through. So we talked about Bobby Fish. We talked about Mercedes Martinez. We talked about, I don't think we've talked yet about Leon Ruff. So let me kind of talk a little bit about Leon Ruff, because Leon Ruff was, there were people that did not like how he essentially won the NXT North American Championship by defeating Johnny Gargano the way that he did. I was actually one of those few people that was legitimately a fan of what they were doing with Leon Ruff. Like, he was a green talent. Don't get me wrong. He was green, but he had a lot of potential. Okay. And again, NXT is a developmental brand. You're gonna see some green talent on there. And Leon Ruff, this one was interesting for me too, because even though they weren't necessarily doing anything with him, he was one of those guys that I thought had a lot of upside. He had just had these like really fun matches with Isaiah Swerve Scott. I really liked the matches that he had with him. I thought for the most part, every time he went out there in the ring, he had like this great passion, a lot of heart. So I did really feel bad seeing his name on that list there. And then Jake Atlas, I don't think I've talked about Jake Atlas yet, but I just want to say that, dang, this sucks, because he's somebody that, like, when he was on the indies, he was somebody that I was like, everybody kind of knew, like, all right, this guy's going to get signed. He's going to get signed. It was pretty obvious. And he had multiple offers, guys. WWE, I don't know how much of this information is out there already, so I'm only going to say what I feel is safe to say. But he had multiple offers. WWE was not his only offer, okay? That's all I'm going to say. WWE was not his only offer. However, he was one of those guys that, like, he grew up a WWE fan. Like, that was a goal of his to do. I actually got one of the last interviews with him as an independent wrestler before he signed to WWE. And like, we spoke about, him getting these offers and, why he ended up essentially going with WWE. And so, like, it was something that, like, it was his dream to be with the company. And he literally just had his action figure come out. But here's the thing that I want to get at, though, is that because I was at a lot of the shows that he worked at, I was ring announcing a lot of those shows, guys. Obviously, I get up close and personal. I watch all the matches. I see the entrances. I see the crowd reactions. I hear the crowd reactions. And Jake Atlas was one of those guys who would get this insane reactions from crowds because, they really liked what he brought to the table with the gymnastics, what he brought to the ring with the, the gymnastics side of his skills, with the wrestling side of his skills, his whole superstar persona. And so knowing all of that and then seeing what was presented of him on NXT, he was one of those guys where I would constantly say, why aren't they doing anything with him? I didn't really feel like they scratched the surface with him whatsoever. And you can say that and argue that about a lot of guys. The only reason why I'm specifically honing in right now on Jake Atlas was because I've seen it firsthand. And I really do feel bad that he never really got this real opportunity to show what he can do. And we got a comment that I want to read here. This one is from Am I Right, Shia Laman, who says that Jake Atlas will do well on the indies. I think so too, because he was doing it. He was doing the hustle right before, even signing with WWE. And I just feel bad because I know that he had other offers and, obviously he went with his heart and went with WWE, and it just didn't work out the way that I'm sure he wanted it to. Also, Ari Sterling, Alex Zane, again, signed 9 months ago. He only, again, as I mentioned, they were literally promoting his match on 205 Live, his match with Kushida. And it's interesting because he's one of those guys that, had a lot of buzz, a lot of buzz heading into WWE. So it's interesting that they never, again, same thing, same story. They never scratched the surface with him either, which is unfortunate. Kona Reeves, to be honest, I'm not that shocked about Kona Reeves being released. Zacharia Smith, I do not know anything about Zacharia Smith, so I really can't comment on that one. Again, Asher Hale just signed this year too. Same thing, did not get to show much of anything. Giant Sanjeev, all I know is that he's one of the big guys that they had. And given right now that there's a lot of big guys, I'm maybe not as surprised for this one either. Steven Smith, I do not know much about Steven Smith either, so I really won't comment on that one. So we've kind of gone through all of the 12 names here. So again, guys, send in your thoughts. We got a super chat from Bobby Harper who says, honestly, what Ollie and the crew at Wrestle Talk always say about NXT being developmental for AEW gets more and more true every week. This is ridiculous. And I made a joke. Did I make this on the air? I don't remember if I made this on the air or just at home, but I was like, bro, Impact Wrestling is a developmental for WWE instead of like what NXT is. I feel that Impact Wrestling is their real developmental. So guys, I really hope that there's no more releases. However, based on what we've seen, I have a feeling that there's more to be bound down the line. I don't know when, but it just kind of feels that way based on what we've been seeing so far. We got another super chat. This one is from Cyclops is Better Than Wolverine, who says, Diamond Mind is cursed. Poor Rust, poor everyone. Yeah, guys. I mean, it's just like, oh my God. I don't know. Oh, also, somebody also shared that today, Jake Atlas was tweeting about, I think this being his 5th or 6th year in wrestling. So he was like really excited about that. And then he got released on that day. So somebody asked if they're done for today. I do not know. I can't answer that. I do not know. Let's see what else we got here, guys. Send in your thoughts, man. This is just crazy. I really don't know what else to say here other than we've kind of gone through everything that we talked about with this as well. Let's see. This is a comment from Rome Mars who says, do you think that AEW foreseen this and that is why they are going to have 4 shows with Rampage coming up? A lot of room for talent. I'm going to say no because I don't know. I'm going to say no because at the end of the day, like, I feel like the reason why they have so many shows, AEW themselves, is because they also have a lot of talent. And I won't be surprised if they just let contracts run out by the end of the, whatever. But I think that they already have enough talent. They have plenty of talent. There's a lot of talent that, doesn't even get seen on, Dynamite. So I know that Cody did mention in the recent media call that he did prior to Homecoming, he was just like, the more the merrier. The more the merrier. So make what you will of that. We got another super chat from Colette Adam who says, good luck, Tom. We could see you as the next Christy Hemme. Oh, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Colette, but thank you so much for sending this super chat in. All right, guys. So that is pretty much our conversation on the releases, which took about half of the show, which is supposed to be a SmackDown review. The other thing that we didn't talk about is the fact that they did this during SmackDown too. Obviously, that is going to be that signals to me that they were trying to bury the news and not have people talking about it. But I'm going to go on Twitter right now, and the number one trending topic is obviously SmackDown. But number 3, you got Bronson Reed. You got number 7, the WWE releases. You got number 9, Nick Khan is trending as well. Number 15, Adam Cole is trending as well. And I'm pretty sure as the night goes on, that is only going to go ahead and trend even higher because people are going to be talking about this too. We got another super chat from Air Force Sister 74 who says, the release of Bronson Reed saddens me. He will shine wherever he ends up. I might be wrong, but I may have gotten one of the last interviews with Bronson Reed as a WWE superstar. I don't know who else might have had him, but I believe I may have been one of the last people to get an interview with him. And that bums me out because I literally asked him about the rumors if he was going to go to Raw or SmackDown. And he told me, and like I read in between the lines, because guys, he's not going to tell me flat out, hey, I'm going to Raw or SmackDown. He's not going to tell me that in the interview, okay? But he basically told me that well, he loves being part of NXT, and his dream opponent is Samoa Joe. At the end of the day, he also, the Attitude Era was like one of his favorite things in wrestling, like so many of us, here. But he basically talked about the fact that a lot of his dreams, having a SummerSlam moment, having a WrestleMania moment, having those moments that, he's seen his favorite former WWE superstars have, that is what he wants. And he told me I could only do that if I'm on the main roster. And I also asked him whether or not, because he kind of like, he even tweeted out, I think it was during Money in the Bank, or I forget when he tweeted out, but this was recently. He tweeted out that he wanted to essentially be the Intercontinental Champion and maybe even align himself with Roman Reigns and the Usos. And I asked him about that too. And I thought that he was kind of like, giving me a little bit of a tease, because he basically said like, I would love to work with those guys. He's all, but I would also like to work against them. And I kind of thought like, all right, am I, what's going on here? Like, is he giving me like a little bit of a tease, a little Easter egg, a little scoop here? Like, am I supposed to read in between the lines? I don't know. But it kind of felt like that's what I was aiming at. So we don't know what he was told, but this is a guy that I was literally doing media with just not too long ago. This is a recent interview with him. Man, so that's how fast these things come, guys. And we got another super chat from Air Force Sister 74 who says that she saw that interview. Thank you so much for checking that out. Mario Morales says, just because it's payday. Thank you so much, Mario Morales, for sending in your piece of your paycheck here to me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And all right, guys. So we're getting so many comments here. And all right, guys. So everybody seems to be mostly shocked. Here's what I'm reading here on the comments, that Bronson Reed got released. Everybody's shocked about that. And everybody wants to see Bronson Reed versus Jeff Cobb. I have seen this comment appear on this multiple times. And all right, guys, that's pretty much what we've got there. We'll talk about this sporadically, but let's jump into SmackDown, because this is officially this is supposed to be a SmackDown post show. So let's talk a little bit about SmackDown, because not that much happened before the releases even happened here. So here we go. They're in Tampa Bay, and the opening segment was actually the best portion of the entire show. The best portion. Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, these two women have such incredible chemistry. We had Sasha Banks essentially coming back after she just attacked Bianca Belair last week. That was a really awesome way for her to essentially turn on Bianca Belair. I was a huge fan of that and how all of that was executed. So she comes out, she's looking great. Her outfit is great. The sleeves are on point. She's basically saying that she's back for the spotlight that she created, that people like Bianca Belair are not respectful of what she has done. And that's the reason why she's out here, that none of these opportunities that Bianca is getting, like hanging out with Megan Thee Stallion, would have happened without the help of somebody like Sasha Banks, excuse me. And so Bianca Belair finally comes out, and she basically reminds her like, hey, you're the one who was begging me to face you after I won the Royal Rumble. Then they essentially agree to have this match at SummerSlam, okay? So that's decided. But then we have Zelina Vega's music hit, and instead she comes out and, she's essentially wanting her challenge from Bianca Belair. And based on what happened last week, it was my understanding that we were already going to see this match. But anyways, Bianca essentially standing in the middle of the ring. She's looking great. She tells Sasha Banks, you're going to get your match at SummerSlam. And then she tells Zelina Vega, you're going to get your match tonight on SmackDown. So I thought that the opening segment for SmackDown was actually pretty phenomenal, because they made Bianca Belair look like an awesome champion, a champion that everybody wanted to, essentially get her hands. They all want to get in the ring with her because she's a champion, and they all want their hands on the belt. I love that. Sasha Banks cut a great promo, and this is one of the few scenarios where they actually made both the champion and the challenger look good, and that is what we saw in this opening segment, both the champion and the challenger looking good in the ring. With Zelina Vega coming out, I mean, I get why they did it. but they could have easily ended the segment there with Bianca and Sasha agreeing to the SummerSlam match, and it would have been perfectly fine. But either way, good stuff here, guys. I was a big fan of the way that they kicked off SmackDown, and I was not expecting any of this. We got a super chat from Zane Miller who says Bronson Reed in with Will Ospreay and Jeff Cobb. Hell yeah, guys. Like, the reaction that Bronson Reed has been getting from everybody on social media should tell you, like, hey, this guy's going to end up somewhere. And at the end of the day, like, the people with the star power, the people that, you know, with the work ethic, they're going to get certain places. And I have no doubt that Bronson Reed is going to be a guy that you see everywhere. And here's the thing too, is like, even with you know, this forbidden door that everybody is talking about, there are more opportunities now. Like, you can literally work with a company, and because of the forbidden door and them doing these collaborations with these other companies, you can end up working on another show with another promotion, literally due to those relationships. So it's not like there isn't options. And that was something that we touched on earlier. But thank you so much to Zane Miller for sending this in here, guys. I really appreciate these comments here. Let's see what else we got here. We got so many comments here about what was going on here. Colette Adams says, didn't they originally announce Zelina versus Bianca as a title match? Yes, we will talk about that. Someone says, where's Toni Storm? No idea where Toni Storm is, but they did not use her on that. And let's see what else we got here. All right, we're going to move on from this because it doesn't seem like we're going to move on from this. All right, after this, we had a match between Jey Uso versus Dominic, and I'll make this quick, guys, since I don't think anybody really minds here. We officially have another match made for SummerSlam. It is going to be the Usos versus the Mysterios, Rey Mysterio and Dominic. That's been made official. I think they might have even made it on social media, but I didn't see it until the actual show. But this match was not that great, guys. It was a slow start. Jay just beat on Dominic. Dominic did a sunset flip to the outside. Dom really hasn't improved that much, to be honest. Like, in this last year, it's pretty much been the exact same thing, which is unfortunate. I think that given that he seems to be a little bit of the weak link in all of these matches. Of course, you know, given his experience, he only has a certain amount of experience, definitely not compared to everybody else that he's normally in the ring with. But I actually kind of feel like putting him in these types of matches hasn't necessarily been showing the best of him, because the crowd was pretty much dead for this match. They were even more dead for the next match. I actually wish that they would maybe try to hide a little bit of Dom's flaws. They were doing that for a while, but it kind of seems like this match kind of just pointed out a lot of his flaws there. Jey Uso ended up winning this match with a splash. Daniel Ingram says, I saw this match 2 weeks ago. Man, I think at this point, it's like all a blur. We have people pointing out that they feel that Dominic needs a run. Serious polish. Joseph Boza says Dominic could have benefited from an NXT run. Yeah, I feel bad, but he's just not at that level that he needs to be having these SmackDown matches, these matches on SmackDown. And if they're passable, if any of these are passable, it's literally because of who he's in the ring with. Like, Jey Uso was like busting his butt here during this match. And we saw the same thing like when he had a match with Robert Roode recently that I remember talking about. So yeah, it's just, that's what it is. The next match that we had about after this, and the crowd was completely dead for this match. And keep in mind, the news of the releases had not yet been broken, okay? This was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Apollo Crews, and this was a contenders match for the Intercontinental Championship. We kind of predicted this was going to happen to this week because, well, if you remember last week, Shinsuke pinned Apollo in a he pinned Apollo during the 6-man tag team match that they had, and we called it then and there at last week's review. He's gonna have a matchup against Apollo, and it's gonna be a contenders match to see if he's even going to have this actual match for the Intercontinental Championship. Again, the crowd was dead. The match was not great. They had Nakamura essentially get Apollo with multiple kicks. Then, as he's about to be winning this match, Commander Aziz pulls Shinsuke Nakamura out of the ring, and this match ends up ending in a disqualification. The only part that I thought was funny was the fact that Rick Boogs is there, and he did absolutely nothing. I mean, he probably couldn't have, but he did absolutely nothing to help out Shinsuke Nakamura during this. I made a joke that it wasn't in his job description. He's just there to play the guitar, excuse me. And we're probably going to get a rematch of this. We're probably going to get another contenders match, and then they're going to make their way all the way until SummerSlam. So I think that's where they're going at with this. We got a super chat from M. Durrett, who says, I hope the Forbidden Door continues and these other companies team up and eventually take down the WWE. Love the talent, but the E. Look, here's the thing, guys, is that I know a lot of people right now are mad and they're upset and they're frustrated and they're annoyed. You name it. Everybody's feeling all sorts of emotions, right? But we've been talking about the fact that there needs to be promotions. There needs to be companies, guys. WWE is not gonna, they're not going to go down, guys. They're literally bulletproof with those TV contracts. And I don't want WWE to go down. Like, that's the thing, is that a lot of people think like, oh, she probably wants the company to go down. Hell no. Like, I'm a fan. When they put on a fantastic show, it is good, guys. And that's the thing that kind of makes me get bummed out, is that I know that they can put on good shows. You see it on the pay-per-views. They've had a lot of really great pay-per-views. They have a lot of great talent. And I don't want to see that everything that has happened with the company, all of that history be erased. I do not want to see that. I wish they were making good decisions. I wish that they were putting on a good weekly product for Raw, for SmackDown, for NXT, for all of that. Because at the end of the day, like, we're wrestling fans. I don't know, man. People still need jobs too, okay, guys? And that's that. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I hope they die. I don't hope that. I do not hope that whatsoever. That is not the mentality that I subscribe to. So I'm sorry, but I'm not on par with that. Can the creative get a lot better? Hell yes. Hell yes. The creative can get a lot better. All right. So that's how I feel about that. Let's see what else we got here. This is a comment from Rome Mars, who says, I don't want to see WWE go anywhere. They don't have to be the top dog, but I want them to be great. They were my childhood. I don't even mind them being the top dog. I do not care. I just want the product to be good. That's the thing. I'm like, it doesn't matter if it has, people. It's not about just, WWE versus AEW or WWE against every single promotion. No, I just want good stuff all around. Damn, that's like the easiest way that I can put this out in words here. All right, guys. So let's see. After this, we had okay, here we go. Finally, something to get excited about. Let's see if I can get the people excited about this, at least, okay? Hopefully we can. All right, so we have a backstage segment between Paul Heyman and Kayla Braxton, and Paul Heyman is basically pissed off at everything that went down with the contract signing of last week, which we talked about on the show was utterly dumb, because we all want to see John Cena versus Roman Reigns, right? But the way that John Cena essentially signed a contract that had Finn Balor's name, we know is kind of silly, because that would never happen. In real life, that would not happen. That would not be a legitimate contract whatsoever. And Paul Heyman points that out. He's like, I can't sign a $75 million contract that's for Tom Brady, that's meant for Tom Brady. I can't do that. And he basically talks about the contract situation being a joke, and he's right about that. He's making a bunch of points. I agree 150% here with Paul Heyman on this. But then we had Big E. Big E comes in, and he has the Money in the Bank just literally on his shoulder, and it's pressed against his cheek, and he's like laughing. He's doing this laugh, and he's giving the crazy eyes to Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman's like, ugh. So he's essentially teasing that he might just be doing this cash in on Roman Reigns. And a lot of people have been clamoring for Big E to essentially, be up there. Do I think that he's going to cash in on Roman Reigns? I have no idea. Do I think he'll beat Roman Reigns? I have no idea. It would definitely be an insane moment. That's that. But the point that I want to get at here is that it was a simple and effective tease. And even though he didn't say anything, he didn't have to. It was actually a very, very good segment there. And we have a comment from Tyler Wilson who says, the fear on Heyman's face. Dude, Paul Heyman sold that. Kudos to Paul Heyman because he made Big E look sort of terrifying as like a potential challenger to Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman's facial expressions that maybe he wasn't so sure if he wants to see him go up against his client, Roman Reigns. He did a lot for Big E with his facial expressions. So kudos to Paul Heyman on all of that here. And here we go, guys. After this, we had a match between Tegan Knox and Tamina. I mean, this was what it was, guys. This was a bad match with a fun finish, and I'm happy that Tegan Knox got the win. Tamina hits her with a headbutt. Knox does 2 cannonballs on Tamina. BTW, they're still calling her Tegan Knox, which I'm thankful for because I do not want her to just go by Knox. But she does 2 cannonballs on Tamina. Tamina is about to go for the Samoan drop, but before she does, Shotzi, who's on the outside of the ring, ends up shooting one of her balls from her tank onto Tamina's face. And so that is how Tegan Knox is able to get the win here. Again, bad match, fun finish. Happy Tegan Knox got the win. That's pretty much all there was to that match. We got a comment from Justin Tolentino who says, give me Paul Heyman and Kayla Braxton every week. They seem to have a pretty interesting chemistry. I wouldn't say it's great chemistry. It's interesting chemistry. They seem to get each other they seem to know what they're doing. All right, here we go. After this, this is going to affect the match later on between Bianca and Zelina. At this point, we still had not known about the releases, and we essentially had Zelina backstage with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, and I kind of feel bad because they've essentially made Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce incredibly unlikable, and on the shows, they have not been coming across as very smart. The decisions they're making are all over the place. It's inconsistent, and the inconsistency just kind of grew here like we've been seeing on prior weeks. Zelina comes and she says she wants her match. She wants it next. And Adam Pearce says nope because they didn't have enough time to promote it. And I'm thinking, what? We kind of already knew this match was happening since last week. I remember this happening. And then Zelina points out that Bianca has already accepted this match twice. And essentially Sonya Deville says that the contract hasn't been ratified and she doesn't make the matches, she does. So they end up making this match a non-title, even though it was promoted as a title match. But we'll get to that match later. Oh my gosh, guys, so much here. All right, here we go. Edge promo. We have a promo from Edge. Edge comes out. He basically points out that Seth Rollins isn't there and that he's glad he isn't there because if he was, he would do stuff to him that would make him end up in jail. He then says, Seth Rollins then pops up on the screen. Okay. And Seth Rollins starts telling him how he's not there. And he starts laughing that he needs a plan B, that Edge needs a plan B. Edge then challenges Seth Rollins to a match at SummerSlam. Seth is basically saying like, well, I got to think about it. But then things get ugly between these guys because Seth brings up his children. Edge snaps. And then Edge calls him Edge Light, version 2.0 of Edge. And Seth Rollins snaps. So then Seth Rollins says that he accepts his match at SummerSlam. So we are officially getting Seth Rollins versus Edge at SummerSlam. We got a super chat from M. Durrett who says, I don't want the E to die. I just want them to respect the fans and the talent with the built-in money they almost give no effort most of the year. Exactly. I'm on par with this too. They have the money, they have the talent, they have a very dedicated fan base. And I'm sure if they were to put on a good product, I'm sure that there would be other people that are maybe on the fence. Some of those people would be like, you know what? I'm going to check it out. It'll be okay. Yeah, respecting the fans, respecting the talent, it does go a long way. So thank you so much to M. Durrett for sending in these super chats. And guys, everybody's still super shocked about Bronson Reed being released. If you guys missed the release talk, rewind the show because we do cover it for the first half hour of this podcast. We are covering the releases. So go ahead and rewind, guys, and you can hear me rant and everybody vent, and it just becomes a therapy session, so you'll enjoy it. Oh, I hate shows like this, guys. I really do, because like usually these shows are like, oh, I'm so happy, and oh, this match was good, or oh, this match sucked, whatever. Like those are kind of like non-important things, and like here we are now talking about people losing their jobs. So it is, I don't even want to say it is what it is. I don't even know what to say. Okay. BTW. Okay, so after this, I think this is when the releases happened. Okay, so this is the point of the show where the releases happened, because I stopped paying attention. And I know this because during my notes while watching SmackDown, I had like bullet points. I had like, oh, this were the moves that were done during this match. This is what happened. This is what I liked. You know, my typical notes. And then all of a sudden, I have really crappy notes here. And that's when I realized this is the point where the news broke about the releases. We got a super chat from Colette Adam who says, love the last segment. Where were the Mysterios? We'll talk about that in a second. We will get there. Obviously, I did watch the show. I just wasn't paying as much attention as I normally do. We got a comment from D-Stark87 who says, all of the talent released tonight, they will be stars wherever they go. One company's loss is another company's gain. And here we go. Joseph Boza says, this is where the shit hit the fan. It really did, guys. Like, it really did. SmackDown became like background noise after this. It was like, just so much stuff, okay? So here we go. Finn Balor, these are my notes, guys, so I'm so sorry. Again, these were bad notes because things went down. All right. Finn Balor says that he's pissed at Baron Corbin and John Cena. This was actually in his promo. He's talking about how he's pissed off at them for essentially stealing his opportunity, right? And then I pretty much just thought, like, why isn't he pissed off at Sonya or Adam Pearce? Like, he should be pissed off at them too. But I'm okay with them essentially, you know, building to this match with John Cena. At least that's where I'm assuming, and I hope that it does end up happening. All I have on my notes here are Finn defeated Baron Corbin. I did not watch this match at all. Also, I'm just realizing now that I may have even skipped the whole match. Okay, no, I didn't. Okay, so Finn defeated Baron Corbin. I didn't watch the match, guys. I'm sorry. Roman comes out. The Usos attack Finn Balor. Finn Balor holds his own against the Usos, but Roman hits him with a Superman punch, and they essentially lay him out. Prior to this, I also forgot to tell you guys, because I did not pay attention to this part either, the Street Profits defeated the Dirty Dogs, and Bianca defeated Zelina Vega in a non-title match. And the one thing that I did notice on this, that the crowd was like dead, and that was essentially also literally the first thing that they showed after the news broke of the releases here. And Bianca won. That's all you need to know. Finn Balor defeated Baron Corbin, and that's it, guys. After that, sorry for those terrible notes, but it was just insane to even try to keep up, guys. So here we go, guys. What do you guys think about, dang, everything? We got a couple minutes left here, man. Let's make them worth it, man. Also, before I go, I do want to let you guys all know, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I made an announcement this Tuesday. I normally cover NXT. However, this Tuesday, I will not be covering NXT immediately after the show ends, because I'm going to be covering the Stars red carpet for the Stars show Heels with Stephen Amell. And so I'm going to be doing that. So instead, my NXT review will be taking place Wednesday morning. And then Wednesday night, I will be back here for my AEW Dynamite. post show that I normally do. And then SmackDown, I will be back on Friday for that. So this next week's schedule is going to be a little bit rough, and it's going to be an interesting edition of NXT. We'll see what goes down. We got a comment from Robbie Burns who says, the bigger story was the releases. Those matches were throwaway matches anyway. That's the truth, guys. That really is the truth. It doesn't even really matter what happened in those matches today, because the releases were the story. And Robbie Burns got it right down here. So send in your last, guys. Send in your last venting. I'm going to read your comments. What are you guys feeling? Riff55 says, Finn topping was a horrible way to end the segment, which seemed like it was made to make him look strong. Literally could have just had him go to sleep. Yeah, he got screwed. He got screwed out of his match with Roman Reigns. He wasn't on the winning end of things tonight. Keith Duran reminds me that tomorrow I am ring announcing at GCW. I cannot wait. I'm nervous, but we'll see how it goes. You can catch that on Fight TV. So that's something positive, at least. Let's see what else we got here. Rome says, the only issue I have with Finn versus Corbin is that Finn shouldn't even worry about a bum. Well, it's fine, because he essentially wanted to get his revenge on Baron Corbin, because Baron Corbin took him out, attacked him from behind. So I'm okay with him wanting to get his revenge on Baron Corbin. That makes sense to me. He should get his revenge on Baron Corbin, on John Cena, and he should yell at Sonya and yell at Adam Pearce. That all makes sense to me. All of it does. Martin Carrillo says the best thing from SmackDown was Finn getting serious and giving Roman a shoot on his money. Tyler Wilson says, I love the concept of mind games between the ultimate opportunist and the architect. It wasn't a bad promo whatsoever. That exchange between Seth Rollins and Edge was perfectly fine. Thank you so much. I love how everybody's reminding me, like, Denise, you need to talk about this. You need to talk about that. Yes. So next Friday, thank you guys so much, because I literally just said SmackDown. Oh, God. Okay. So BTW starting next Friday. Next Friday, I'm going to be covering both SmackDown and Rampage. Again, I made that announcement on a couple shows and also online. I'm going to be covering SmackDown and Rampage. And so instead of going live at the normal time that I normally do, I'm going to be going on an hour later. Okay. So just keep an eye out on YouTube. All of the streams are scheduled in advance. So if there's any changes, you will see them on YouTube. Thank you guys so much, man. I need an assistant or something. You guys are all great for reminding me everything that I need to remind myself here. Antonio Marrero says, why no Cena? He was in a dark match afterwards. My friend, I have no idea. My thought process is, if you have John Cena right there on your clock, this is a very busy man who isn't readily available. Use him. Definitely use him. We got a comment from Spooked Podcast who says, I think I'm done with the WWE and maybe wrestling. It's hard to invest in people that are apparently expendable. Josh Rosowska says, I'm done with WWE. This was the last straw for me. I will watch you guys' shows. I will watch Becky Lynch on highlights. There is no reason to care about a company who doesn't care. The Cooch says, Denise needs to start covering Triple A on weekends. I am going to be covering the Triple Mania show. Wait for more details on that on Twitter. And let's see what else we got here, guys. So much stuff. Again, if you missed the release talk, you guys can rewind to the beginning of the show, because we break all of that stuff down at the very beginning of the show. Kaleem Allah, he sends in a super chat and says, Balor will be put in a title match at SummerSlam. That's fine with me, I guess. No, actually, no, because I do want it to be Roman Reigns, John Cena by themselves. So yeah, let's leave that how that should be there. Corey Bradley wishes me good luck tomorrow, and he'll be watching GCW. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the show, and I hope I do a good job here. Let's see what else we got here. This is a comment from Chief G5150 who says, you know what they say, one person's discards are another person's treasure. Not everyone needs to go to AEW. I see opportunities here to enrich the rosters of Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, DDT, Dragon Gate, All Japan, and many others. And Chief FG5150 is definitely on point with this comment, because we did talk about that at the beginning. We are not living in a period where there's no options. There are definitely options out there, and there are like Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor lost a lot of momentum and a lot of their buzz has gone down. This is an opportunity for their buzz to go back up. And they do have money. They're owned by Sinclair. They got money, guys. Impact Wrestling, they got a lot of good stuff. They already have a lot of good talent there. I'm sure sprinkling in a couple more won't hurt. New Japan, there's been a couple people that I've brought up that I would like to see in New Japan. And obviously, like you mentioned, so many other options. Again, this really just depends on people's, work ethic and what they actually want to do. Let's see what else we got here. Samoan Joseph says Finn's promo was all about Cena, so Roman should have been mad that Finn wasn't focused on him. That could have been something too. And let's see what else we got here. Oh my God, so many comments here, guys. We got Purple Mercy is going to be at the GCW show in LA. If you are at the GCW show tomorrow and you see me, feel free to come say hello. Do not be shy. You guys can definitely come up and say hello. All right, guys, that's pretty much our show. I want to thank you guys so much for bearing with me. This is not the way my show is normally run. Usually this is more in depth with the SmackDown review. Next week, the next week's show will be SmackDown and Rampage. But again, I will be back for NXT, Dynamite, and then SmackDown Rampage. Guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Please do not forget to give this video a like if you are watching on YouTube. Subscribe to my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, at _ Denise Salcedo. I really hope you guys enjoyed the show for what it was. And thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.